Lionel Ownsworth immigrated to Canada from Scotland in 1956 and has been a permanent fixture on the Peterborough sports scene ever since. He excelled in badminton and soccer and has served as both a coach and a player. He played soccer for many years, winning the Carling Sportsmanship Award in 1959 and sharing the Peterborough Soccer League Sportsmanship and Ability Award with Lionel Alex Graham in 1971. He coached soccer for more than 15 years and was awarded the Sir Sanford Fleming RAC Appreciation Award in 1986. Ever since his arrival in Peterborough, Lionel has belonged to the Peterborough Badminton Club, where he has served as past president for 40 years, and he's now a 60-year member, I believe, correct?
No longer.
Well, now longer, yes. Lionel won the Central Ontario Closed Men's Singles in 1968 and 69. In 1968, he won the Belleville Invitational Men's and Mixed Championship. In 1970, he played in the Ontario Winter Games in Toronto, and in 1986, he won the Kingston Invitational Men's Doubles B Trophy. A high point of his career was winning the Ontario C Mixed Championship with his wife, Betty. Locally, Lionel is a badminton legend. He has been the Peterborough Badminton Club men's singles winner 9 times, has won the mixed doubles 5 times, and has captured the men's doubles championship an amazing 17 times with 6 different partners. Over a period of more than 60 years, Lionel Ownsworth has had a major impact on the Peterborough and District sports scene. Lionel Ownsworth, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And
actually, I won it once more after the men's doubles.
Oh, did you? Okay, so since 2005, you've won more. All right. Was that the last time you heard this, though? 2005 for sure?
No, I won one after that,
okay.
That's for sure, yeah.
And these photos we have here, you mentioned to me beforehand that these were in Market Hall.
Market Hall.
Take me back to, these nice hair, by the way, in this picture, but take me back to these days.
Yeah, these days were there. It was Ralph Charlton, Maurice and Mark Baker and myself. I believe that was Ralph and I played men's doubles together. He was actually my second partner, and my wife ended up playing with Maurice in some of the championships. And actually, my wife and I were the first ones to beat Maurice and Ralph in the mixed doubles. They'd won it for several years in a row. And other than that, then just competitive badminton, and that was one of the ones that was taken at the club there. I didn't know it was being taken. But other than that, everything else is just exactly the same. You can see the boards. It was all up in the Market Hall. The Market Hall had 4 wood stoves. 3 wood stoves. And then in one end, we used to turn around and we had our social bit there, and we made it into a lounge with electric heat. The comical thing that a lot of people don't know about the Market Hall was to switch on the water. There was a big key. It went from the second floor of the Market Hall right down to the ground, and you had to turn that on to get the water. And it was wood fires. Used to keep the place warm, and we ran the COB tournaments up there and everything. And there was a lot of competition went on in that place.
Very unique sports venue.
Yeah, it was there. Good.
And this right here is to mark 60 years?
No, that was 60 years, I think it was, of being with the club in there, but it was a couple of years short too. But other than that, it was a very nice thing that Eric and the badminton club presented me with there about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go back to the start and try and do this chronologically.
Okay.
Badminton, where did you start playing badminton? How did you start playing badminton?
Started playing badminton in the Market Hall in January '56. It was my cousins that took me up there to play, because I used to just swim and play soccer. And I was the only one that finished up playing there. They gradually all fell out of it, and except my cousin Aileen. She still played with my wife in ladies doubles a lot. And we just gradually, I'd never played before, and I almost quit because I broke 3 rackets in about the first 2 months or something like that.
Was that through frustration? Or
No, one slipped out of my hand and hit the wood fireplace and broke the shaft, and another one I broke over my chest, and another one just happened to break. At that time, the Jack Purcells were about $25. That was a lot of money then.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just kept on going and gradually working hard at it, and nobody really coached me. Well, Only once was a gentleman called Grant Henry was playing singles, and he said to me, why do you play the short service in the singles from the right hand court? Because they can put up your backhand. He says you should always do it from the left hand court to there, so that if the bird's got to go to the backhand, it can go over your head. And that was about the only tip I really got from that. And there's a lot of people I knew through there, and Willard Emsley, I played him the first time at singles, men's singles, and the game seemed to last forever because you could only score points when you won the service, when you were serving. And ended up, when we finished, he had won it, and he said to me, Lionel, if you're going to play badminton, he said, you're going to have to learn to serve right and accurate. So I practiced that and to there.
Both hands?
No, it was one hand.
Oh, yeah.
Just one hand. And I practiced the single service and the double service, and I figured I was one of the best servers in the club. And I still, even when I was coaching the juniors in years to come, I still practice the service, because if you can't get the bird into play, you're not going to win. But then they changed it from the 15 points to 21 points, and you could score like a point when you defeated, same as tennis. You could score at any time. So other than that, all these little changes just kind of came on there and got from one partner to another, and things just fell into place, and I enjoyed it and still played. So now we play on a Monday night at Trent from 8 to 11, and Crestwood from about 6 to 10:30, and Eric and I coach now at the Thomas A. Stewart on a Friday night from about 6 to 9:30, and we have sometimes anywhere from 65 kids up in that. In fact, one time we had 102, but we said that was just too many, and that. So, and Sir Sam Baker and another gentleman, we coached here way before Eric started, and so other than that, everything else just kind of fell into place.
Now, I assumed, how old were you in 1956 when?
21.
You're 21, so you lived in Scotland the rest of your life prior to that?
Yeah.
Okay, I just assumed that it was a sport that you imported with you.
No, it wasn't. No, I never played it before.
And so growing up in Scotland, it was
soccer.
Soccer and swimming?
Swimming, yeah.
Were you swimming in
Scotland?
Yes.
In Helmsburg, it used to be a 50-yard saltwater pool at the side of the pier. We used to play there, and it was you'd swim there until there was maybe a big windstorm and the big waves would splash over the side, and they had to clear the pieces of wood and seaweed maybe out of it, but it was a saltwater pool of 50 yards long. And then they eliminated that and made it into a parking lot, and then they did put in an indoor pool, 25-yard indoor pool.
Okay, so let's go back to the start of your sports life then. We know there's a benchmark at 21 when you moved to Peterborough and started playing badminton, but before that it was soccer and swimming.
Yeah, it was my aunt Lily that got me into more or less the swimming, and had to swim there, and did my first race across the pool with her and that, and she was a very dedicated person, and she was doing her diving. She wanted to turn around and know if her toes were pointed and all the rest of it, and I think she was one in detail, and I think that just kind of gave me the encouragement to do that, and then I just gradually played soccer as goalkeeper over there, and just one thing just kind of came on, and I used to swim quite competitively until I started courting my wife. And we courted for 3 years before we get married over there.
Oh, you met her in Scotland as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Now, there's something I read in here that really caught my interest, and that was just the exhibition match, or the junior match against Manchester City with Celtic.
Yeah. No, that was at Celtic Park. We played
Celtic Park, okay.
At Celtic Park there, yeah. I was picked for the Glasgow boys there, and we played against the Manchester boys down there in Celtic Park, and we went then down to Manchester to play there. But people won't believe it, but Celtic Park was one of the poorest goal places, because they just resanded the edge of the goal and you could hardly move in it. You know what I mean? And at that time, Charlie Tully was a really spectacular player there, and it was, as a kid there, I was quite happy to go around and see the boxes and see these soccer shoes, Charlie Tully, with all the names on it. And yeah, it was quite the thing.
Now,
We didn't win, we lost 3-1.
That's okay. Could you impart
Bad
to people
goalkeeper.
that don't know, though? Like people that don't know, how much would that have meant to a Scottish youth to get a chance to play there?
Oh, I never thought I could have brought the picture down.
Yeah.
I've still got the picture of the team, yeah. And I think it was an honour, you know what I mean, to be there, you know. But my wife's there, the goalkeeper lost, my wife turned around and she kind of jokes, says, well, his father must have had money to buy him that position. Didn't know we're going to land up and get married, but so there you are.
Well, it all worked out. Now, when you came here, you had the passion for soccer, obviously. How much further ahead of you were you then
Of
Canadian
soccer?
players when you showed up playing soccer?
Actually, I landed up and I was at a rental house by Robson's in London Street, 426 London. And I had a phone call from a Scottish club wanting me to play there, and I didn't accept the offer because I didn't know how good they were or how poor, and I didn't want to be underclassed or overclassed. So I landed up and went down there, and a dentist, Jack Peters, started a team called the Rovers on 56, and he turned round and I landed up and playing for him at Howie Steele. When they folded that year, next year, Howie Steele was the coach of the UEW. He asked me to come and play for them, so I landed up and I played for them as the goalkeeper for the UEW. And like sir, a few of the sports people that's in here, like Marv Buchan and Pete Van Munson, they were my team members, and Buchan used to joke that he was one of the few guys who could put the ball past me in a pass back, but just a standard joke. But Larry Payne and all of the guys, you know.
So a lot of recent European immigrants were...
We had a complete mixed team, actually.
Okay.
We had a mixed team. We had a German guy played for us, we had a Dutch guy played for us, an English guy, a Scottish guy, and Canadian guys. And we had a Hungarian guy. In fact, we used to nickname him Puskas, because he was a head soccer player for Hungarian then. And he could hardly speak there, but he was a good player, and he played for us as well. In fact, actually, when we played the soccer, we played a lot of times on a Thursday night in the second header at Kinsman Stadium in Oshawa. And every game was like an international game, because we had like a Polish team, a Dutch team, a German team, and all the nationalities had their own team then, and we played there. And it was quite a thing every night.
It must have been good competition.
It was good competition. It was good competition. And when we won the Carling Cup, the Polish team had actually managed to have some players from Polish White Eagles in Toronto at the time, and come down there, and we managed to beat them, and we scored the goal. We had lost one player, we were down to 10 men, and we kind of had I got the ball and passed it out to one of the guys, and the guy put it to Bobby Strong, and Bobby Strong hit it. Their goalkeeper was a way out too far, and by the time the ball rolled over the goal line, they were about 5 yards short, and we just centred the ball and we won, because if it went into overtime, I think it would have been curtains for us.
The Carling Cup, just go into detail about what that means.
Well, that was just one of the big trophies that they played for, the whole Oshawa League played for, Carling Cup, yeah.
So that would draw from, teams
all
from
the area,
Toronto,
yeah. And then I played for the Eastern Ontario All-Stars too, and we played there a couple of games down east and way down west as well. But
And goalkeepers now are 6'4", 6'5".
yeah.
How different is the position now versus when you played?
The only difference is now that you could, when you saved the ball, you could take 3 steps and bounce the ball and carry out. And they changed that there. You didn't do that, but they could run out with the ball and throw the ball, but they couldn't take a pass back. You know what I mean? Before they used to be able to pass the ball back to you, but then they did it. They said it was to speed up play, but personally myself, I think it slowed down the play, because they would carry the ball out to the line and look and throw the ball out to somebody and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? But the only thing that I could say now about goaltending is that they pick a spot where to go to dive to the left or the right just before the ball is kicked, and they go that way. And to me, it looks so stupid. him diving to the right and the ball going into the left. As I said, you never see a hockey goalkeeper put out the wrong hand to stop a puck with the wrong leg unless it's a deflection. But they never really, scientifically, if you want to call it that, watched, because when they changed the ball to the spot black and white ball, you could focus your eye on that spot and you made everything blur, like so say like you see in a wedding picture. Well, when you see that, you can see the fraction of that ball, the split second that ball moves. You don't look at the player at all. Then you know which way that ball goes and just hope you can get it. And actually, when we won the Carling Cup, I saved the penalty kick down the bottom right-hand corner. So.
And it was just by focusing. So
you focus your eye dead on the dot of the ball, and the minute that fraction moves, you can see it and go. But these guys, the goalkeepers now, they're bouncing up and down and diving to the wrong side.
You're guessing.
They're guessing. That's it. You know, if they stop the ball and he dives this way and it hits here, they say, "Oh, a great save." But he just. That's the way.
Coin flip, pretty much.
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
You mentioned hockey briefly, and I got to bring this up because last week was the 65th anniversary of the first ever Peterborough Pete's game, and you were at that game?
Well, no, I don't think I was at that game. I can't remember when it was. I was here actually when I was doing some of the cement work, and then I started real early, and I can't remember now whether that was the first game or not game, but I can remember way back we used to stand up at the far side there, and one of my friends, Al Nice, and I, we watched a lot of the hockey games there, and then at times there I sat beside in section 3 with Eddie Redman. He was there. Maybe he didn't recognise me, or I recognised him when the two brothers were playing here. And when they shot the puck and they were arguing whether it went through the net or not, I still meant it went through the net because of just the way the angle was, you know what I mean? And the brother was a defenseman, and in the power play, he used to be landing up outside the box, and so many power plays would get stopped then. And when they traded him to St. Catharines, he was inside the blue line, and he scored the goal the first night he was back playing against Peterborough. But Dickie used to whistle to them so as to know that they're out of position and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? Or Eddie, I should say, whistle to them. But
what was
feeling?
What was or for you come over, you haven't seen hockey before as well. And
that's right.
You obviously became a fan, but
I liked hockey.
What attracted you to the game?
I thought it was a great game. Well, to be truthful, I landed up there, and when I came here, I liked skating, and I bought a pair of hockey skates down at Sears, and I bought them real tight because the soccer boots, you used to put them tight and they'd fit your feet, but I didn't know that hockey boots didn't fit, and they hurt my feet so much that I really could never really get into too much of the skating. And then when I did buy a pair with the new type blades on it, after about 6 months, I think one of my sons confiscated it on me because they needed it, because they had to play there. You don't use them, Dad, you know what I mean? So here's the ones with the old bit of rubber at the back end of it, you know what I mean? So, but I love the hockey. I watch it all the time and study it and see there, you know what I mean? Everybody's their own personal coach for the hockey, see what's there and that, but there are certain things that you see that they don't see.
Well, I'd imagine just growing up as a goaltender, you're looking downfield, you kind of perceive a game in a different way.
You look at a different perspective from it, you know what I mean?
You obviously love coaching.
I did soccer, I played soccer, and I umpired for badminton, and I refereed for soccer.
And you coached as well, obviously. You coached badminton.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Now,
I had my coaching certificates too.
Yeah. You have so many acknowledgements and awards. Can you take me through just, I guess, what you've accumulated over your life? And I know you have some of the trophies behind you. One you brought in, you mentioned, was from 1919. But can you take me through, I guess, the most important ones that you've been awarded, or your recognitions?
I don't know. I thought, like, say, even this one here, where the badminton club recognised was there, and I had a standing ovation for about 15 minutes, because a lot of the players there I had coached, and funny enough, I'd coached some of their kids as well, of the people I had already coached. So that lets you know how long it was, and I enjoyed that. And I was doing the badminton umpiring. I was actually a provincial umpire, and actually I was there. It's not in that, I don't think. And one of the reasons I really stopped at the end of it was because they brought out the rule: if you were an umpire, you couldn't really play in the games. You know what I mean? And so I had to make a decision, which it was. The decision was I stayed with playing badminton.
You won all those club championships. Sorry, it was 18 total.
I think they said 16 or 17.
Yeah, it said 17 in the bio, and you said there's one after 2005.
Yeah.
Are there any of those that mean more to you than others?
I would say when we first beat Ralph and Maurice in the mixed doubles was really a thing, because they were the best players there, and it was that was a thing, because they'd won it for I think 5-6 years in a row, and to get by them, it was there. You know what I mean? I thought that was a real good thing. And other than that, and then when Betty and I won the Ontario C down in Picton, that was one of the high spots too. That Betty and I did that.
How close was that match?
It was fairly close. It went to the third game. You know what I mean? And that, but we managed to win.
You mentioned Picton. How far did? Well, I think your soccer team was called the Rovers.
Right? The first year, yeah.
First year, okay. But anyways, just on that theme, there was a lot of going around to play other teams in soccer and in badminton all over Ontario, I'm assuming.
No, not in the area. The area basically. Like for the badminton, a lot of the ones was in Belleville, Picton, Bowmanville, like Oshawa, like that, But at the time when I was elected to go to the Ontario Winter Games, that was actually the best players. It was adults as well, you know what I mean? Now they've got it into, it's almost like a program for juniors. I know I hate to say that, but that's what it was. So it's in there, and then I went in Thunder Bay to umpire up there at the Ontario Games as well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
now going to the Ontario Games, I still think it's fascinating that you picked up the sport at such not an advanced age, but at 21 to start a sport is unique, and you didn't have many tips, you mentioned as well at the start.
No.
So what were you doing to hone your abilities in badminton, and what really allowed you to get to that
I
level?
think I paid attention and just watched how players played and made mistakes. I think that was my biggest thing, of watching people make mistakes and how they did it. And also little things. I know this sounds there. Some people, you see them playing with black shirts on now. It used to be always white.
See that? Yeah, the white cotton.
All white, all white, and then they've come out with they're in different colours. Now, if you think you're playing with a white bird, badminton shuttle they call it, and you've got a white shirt on, you're like this here, you can't. The card's white to white. But if you've got a black shirt on, and you got a white bird, then you can turn around, like watching the spot in the soccer ball. You can see that fraction move so quick, and details and where they stood, how they served. And so when they were serving in they say a men's doubles or something like that, when they were going to do a long serve, some people were just going to move a little bit back because you go to lift the bird.
Okay.
And I think the biggest thing was watching in details how they moved and what shots they got. And also, I don't want to do a commercial, but there was a certain drink that you could take. I used to get so stiff after tournaments, it took me 3 days to almost do my job. And then I started taking a certain drink, and I could turn around and play, and I never seemed to have a sore muscle after that.
Is
no
the drink
legal?
No.
No, it was Gatorade.
Okay. So you got some electrolytes.
Yeah, electrolyte, and that's it. And I told all my kids, never sit down after a hard game. Walk. You never get a racehorse, turn around, and they always put a blanket over it.
Get the lactic acid.
Yeah, and get out your legs and walk. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now you described actually, so I know in Major League Baseball or in baseball at high levels, the batter's going to be looking for the spin on the ball from the seam. NHL goalie is going to be looking where the puck is on a blade of a stick before a player shoots. So you're, I guess, employing that exact same strategy for badminton. When you were a goalie as well, you're keying in on that ball.
No one was, you had an idea where the ball was going to go and land, you know what I mean? And I think the hardest shot, and to me, was the goalkeeper, was what they used to call a droopy ball, was a ball that was coming down, like, hit like this and landing
ball hit
down.
right on the seam?
No,
or
just
it's like-
just coming down, and you have to try and judge it to get up, because
Okay.
it's only a fraction of a second. You're getting up to touch that there, and well, if a shot's coming this way, you get a better chance in it. You know what I mean? But
You did all these picking up of tells. Are you a good poker player as well?
yeah, you can
No,
play
yeah.
poker. You do poker. You used to play 3-card brag. It's another hockey, another game. No, I enjoyed the badminton so much, and so did my wife. And wife played up for years. You know what I mean? And she was a good player, and we both helped each other. And she used to say that when I was getting tight, I'd always kind of be filling up my pants and that. And I watched my grandchildren. They had me, like, about a month ago, showing me the television thing of Olympic Games, where the singles was played for the men's singles and ladies doubles. Excuse me. The only thing I thought bad about television, it doesn't give the badminton justice, because the court is 44 feet long, and they had the cameras behind the court. Well, that makes the court look shorter, and you couldn't see how they cover. You know what I mean?
So you want to see a traditional side-to-side look. Like
well, you can see
hockey?
how. Yeah, because your court is from the net to the back of the thing is 22 feet, so that's 42 feet. The bird goes, and people got to move up and in. While a lot of them look at tennis, the ball moves side to side in tennis 90% of the time. You know what I mean? So the players run there, but in badminton, you're back and front, and you make a mistake, you've got 22 feet to go back to pick up the bird.
If I'm ever producing a badminton broadcast, I'll be sure to go side to side. Yeah, I guess the depth in which they're moving.
Oh, yeah, well, you look at it next time. And that wasn't the only time I saw that. I saw another program before about it, and I said, "Oh, why did they ever take it that way?" Because it just looks like a square court. It looks so short. You know what I mean? When the camera back there, it's unbelievable.
Well, the Olympic, you're talking about Olympic badminton.
The Olympic badminton
So
was there.
produced. I know that's produced centrally. So like the.
It was. I watched the whole game between the men's singles and also the ladies doubles. You know what I mean? People don't realize how fast it is or how strange it is. You know.
They really move. Yeah. And with just a flick of a wrist.
You won't believe how fast a badminton bird. You can check it out sometime or other, and check out the most strenuous course in sports. They did it quite a few years ago. High-lie was one of the most strenuous sports, and competitive singles in badminton was second.
Wow.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's hard to
No,
believe.
really.
And I've got to watch your program, and it comes under the strenuous sports. It's the one. It's in the badminton. It's on that group singles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can check it out very easy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now you come from Scotland, so I just want to get into another sport briefly here, the home of golf. I'm assuming you played golf. I see it in there a little bit that you played in Peterborough.
Yep. Joined at Pinecrest when it was a 9-hole golf course with West Dixon was there, and I enjoy the golf, play the golf, but I'll never be I was never a great golfer, but I could hit a ball long. I think what happened with me was when we got married and had kids and that, I could only maybe play on a Wednesday night in a mixed league, because I couldn't book a tee-off time for, say, the weekends, because I never knew whether I was going to be working overtime and that, and money counted, and so it was hard to get a game, and we just settled in and played on a Wednesday night. But I done not too bad. A few times I played at the quarter for the men's, senior invitation, and I managed to win the pot of gold a couple of times there, just with doing the birdies and different things and that. Okay. So I could hit a long bird at that time and that, but it's getting shorter now. Yeah. But I still enjoy it.
Good.
With the guys I golf with, they land up and golf there, and one guy books a tee-off time, and we get out there about 4 times a day, and they get out. They actually golf 6 times a week. You know what I mean?
Okay. A week,
yeah.
And do you still compete in senior swimming events as well?
They haven't done. Yes, we did until the same COVID thing started down at the Jack Baker Club in Port Hope, and see every every 2 years what they have is what they call Actifest. Actifest is where each district picks their winners, and then they go to this. Peterborough was supposed to be it 2 years ago, and then they were supposed to have it last year, but both times it was cancelled. But we swam in Ottawa, Kingston, Hamilton, and different places like that. You know what I mean? In fact, in Ottawa, well, besides just badminton, it's all little sports. You know what I mean? They had in the convention centre over 2,000 participants, plus the people that was there surprised me. They were all lined up along the stage, the people who done what was doing to serving the dinners, and they had the dinners out all the table in about 2 minutes. There was not many of them, and they cleared them and everything. It was quite understandable how quick they could serve that, but that's their job, you know what I mean? The convention centre and that. But it was good swimming down there, and we got to know quite a few people. There, I met one gentleman that became quite friends with from way up north, and we kind of lost contact. But him and I were always just roughly about the same speed, and it would be touch and go whether I'd win or he wins. You know what I mean? But we didn't come in. We didn't come in first at it.
And now, looking back at your swimming awards and achievements, now the trophy that's over your right shoulder is the Sir Ian. Can you help me with the pronunciation there? Ian Colquhoun?
Sir Ian Colquhoun.
Colquhoun? Oh, so the Q's and okay.
Yeah.
Just gets ignored, I guess, in pronunciation. Okay. And you mentioned it's from 1919. Can you give me some history on that trophy? Obviously, it's been around.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But no, if you could win it 3 times, you could keep it. You know what I mean? So that's what I did.
And what was the competition to win it?
It was medley, breaststroke, crawl, and backstroke. Yeah.
And did you win it all? You won it 3 times?
I'd won it three years in a row.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So,
what other people that are exceptionally notable who have won that trophy as well in Scotland?
I wouldn't have a slightest idea.
No, yeah.
I wouldn't have a slightest idea. But the names are all there.
Okay, yeah. You mentioned that all the names going back to 1919.
All there, every one of them. Yeah.
Swimming in Scotland, I'm guessing you didn't swim in the ocean at all.
No, not really. No, not really.
There are not any friendly beaches around?
Well, you got to remember, I was young then, and then when I came 18, I had other challenges. I had to, win my wife. Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah.
And just tell me about the winters in Scotland as well. I understand they're harsh, but
not really. You get used to it. It was kind of drizzly weather now and again, but they had good weather and that. And one of the other times that we had about 6 weeks of sunshine was the year my wife and I got married, and we ever thought that we're going to be bad weather. Went up to Oban for our honeymoon, and it was still perfect good weather. And when we come back to Glasgow Central Station, it was just pouring the rain again. It started raining again, and we never thought it would hold off, and we never had a drop of rain then. That was before there, 5 weeks before, and the week we were on the honeymoon. You know what I mean? And things are different over there. We went up to Oban, which was 100 miles away. You know what I mean? Which is nothing in Canada. No. And I think it took us about 3.5 hours or 4 hours in the train, because I didn't check it, and there was a milk run, and the other trains were going past, so we got there late at night time. But other than that, it was worthwhile getting married.
Okay, well that's good. It's good you got a nice
We're
weather.
66 weeks now, 66 years married now, so can't complain.
You got to play a good amount of sports together as well. And
Yeah, she golfs all the time too. Yeah, she golfs there.
And she was a runner in Scotland?
She used to run in Scotland too, yeah. She had a trophy there. She'd won there, a picture of it, but I didn't bring it down. And yeah, she was quite active, and also field hockey. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I know it's less common here to hear people actually have to specify ice hockey versus field hockey. I know there are some hockey leagues in Scotland now, but I want to get a little bit more on what surprised you when you showed up here in terms of the sporting scene. So I know you showed up with your history in golf, soccer.
No, I didn't play golf over there.
You didn't play golf at all until you got here?
More or less. I'd been on the golf course about twice.
Wow.
Twice or 3 times, maybe 4 times, but that was just there. That was about all.
From the home of golf, you didn't get a chance to golf there? No?
You know,
Wow.
lot of places there were travel to go to golf course and that. You're not interested. You go to school and all the rest of it, and you work and
So golf was more accessible in
Started here.
Canada than it was in Scotland,
yep.
which is a surprise to me, I
Yeah.
guess. But what else was it when you showed up here? Whether it be the weather that you had to deal with, or just the way that
The
sports were
weather
organized.
didn't seem to bother me too much. Nor the wife and I. You know, we come over here, and I was in January. She came up 6 weeks later, and I worked at the Peterborough Canoe Company when I came there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It took me 3 days walking around Peterborough to get a job, and I got it in the Peterborough Canoe Company and got there, and gradually I met friends in there, and we got to become like so good friends, and their relations. We land up and doing a lot of things in Bancroft, between hunting and all the rest of it, and I actually landed up and did a lot of photography work for them, for weddings, funerals, and they were almost like my Canadian parents, you know, if you want to call that. They were there, and I got to know a lot of people in Bancroft as well, and it was and the badminton, and between the soccer people and the badminton, Betty and I, well, we didn't know any people that were in Scotland because Glasgow was that's there, but we came to Peterborough, we got to know all the badminton players, and a lot of the badminton players played tennis over at the Quaker. Well, I landed up with the soccer, so you got to know a lot of soccer players, and wherever you went, and then I worked in Ownsworth, so I got to know a lot of the players up there, and also the badminton people all over, you know what I mean?
So the sports community really embraced.
It is, yeah. I just maybe sports minded, and you know, didn't land up to play any musical instruments except the radio and the gramophone. But we had a lot of them in our house in Scotland, like the piano and accordions and banjos and that, but I never.
Not everybody has the music.
Everybody has their own calling, you know what I mean? So.
And you obviously got a lot of recognition. Now, there's another one, the Badminton Association Honor Roll Award.
Yeah.
This is for the development of badminton in Ontario. What role do you feel you played in that?
Well, I think like our juniors that came there, so many juniors that came, you wouldn't realise that for coaching all those years of juniors, how many children that you pass by, and I often hear a lot of words, people saying, oh, the kids are now, there's so many this, that, and they're in trouble and they do this. All the years I coached, and even at St. Anne College, there was only about once there, a little small incident, and once in our badminton club, a small incident. Other than that, all these other kids were just good kids, and same with the kids I had at soccer, you know what I mean? And Pete gave me a kid one day to play like so with, because other people couldn't handle him, and he turned out to be one of the excellent little players and everything like that, you know what I mean? And when I ran the team, we had extra players. You could only dress so many players, and I put them there. I says, there's the 3 players that stands out this week. Next week, these ones come in, these ones come out. And I said, if you can't show up, your responsibility to phone those people to come to play, and if you don't, then you'll miss the next game. And it worked perfectly. You just made the rules and stuck by them, and they knew that was it. And the same in the badminton. We have no trouble with any of the kids in the badminton. Eric has it underway as well, and he looks after, he's the president of the club now, and I used to be the head of the badminton for the juniors and all that as well, but now I got Eric to take over, and he's done an excellent job as well. He's very dedicated, and we work well together, and we do the best to keep the kids. And the biggest majority of kids, if they come back the second year and they're young, they pretty near all stay until they go to college and university, which I think is a thing. And then when they've got their 3 weeks, they come back to our club and maybe play and one thing or another. It's amazing how many children went through our club. You know what I mean? And some of the clubs, we had reasonable things, and if a family had more than 3 kids, you know, they only could pay so much money, and we gave them a reduction. The other kids come in, you know what I mean? Because
That's nice, yeah.
some families had 5, 6 kids, and one family had 12, 13 kids. I don't know what the mother had kept her going busy, but I tell you what, that was the Glovers, and then there was the Kennedys, and there's quite a few of them that had.
So you're talking about all the different families, all the different people you saw over all that time, and going back to where it was when you started with the club. Where was it at then, in terms of where it is now, and what was it like before that as well?
Well, I'd say the badminton club, when I joined in the 56, actually we played pretty near every night. We had the market hall basically to ourselves other than the market on a Saturday, and I believe Bert Bone, he used to run the juniors at that time as well, and they had an afternoon ladies session as well to play badminton, and so it almost landed up like a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday that one crowd would play, and a Tuesday and a Thursday they were still all the same club, but they came there, and then they had a ladies club. I can't remember whether it was 2 or 3 afternoons a week, but there was a ladies section that they played afternoon ladies, most of them there, and it was they played there, and also we used to have inter-clubs things that came to the market hall, like so usually a weekend where they'd invite a club, let's say Belvoir would come, and then they'd invite us to it, and so many players, when we play competition up in the market hall. We had 4 courts up in the market hall there, and like so, let me see now, it would be, yeah, and then we had the COBA tournaments, like so, and they used to play on a Friday night, and they'd play right up to late in the morning, and then on the Saturday morning they would start the singles and the mixed
Friday
doubles.
night until 8 in the morning?
No, till late in the morning.
Okay, late in the morning. Okay.
Late in the morning, like so it could be
Yes,
1
right.
o'clock or after 12 before they got there, and then
Yeah.
the singles started at 9 o'clock. The people, they stayed at certain hotels, most like the Empress at that time before it got burnt down, and then they'd come, and then we'd have a dinner and dance on the Saturday evening, and we held the COBA closed and the COBA open, where players would come from Ottawa or Toronto or Windsor from up north. It was quite big. People didn't realise how many people were involved into badminton, and it's a worldwide sport actually.
The comparable between then and now, is it roughly the same amount of people involved locally?
I'd say it's, let me see, basically about the same. There's a lot of people. It's there in Peterborough. It was quiet for a while, but we still have about 60 members in our club, and that's about the standing of what it was, being kind of steady on that. You know what I mean? The Market Hall would be our main place until they were knocking down to put in the Peterborough Square. And so we landed up then from there, we landed up to the Armories to play in the Armories. It was one of the sergeants, I believe it was, or a colonel, it got us in there to play in the Armories.
So did Market Hall, and this is my ignorance, I guess, but did Market Hall used to extend further into the square? No, okay.
No, it was there. The clock was there. It was there. The 2 main doors were on the east side, where you went up either side there. What a lot of people didn't realise, before they knocked down the actual rest of the buildings, there used to be an opera house right through the wall. If you could go through the wall, because badminton was upstairs. Upstairs, was a beautiful opera house with velvet wheels, seats and everything, and the balcony and everything there. I didn't realise it was there until I happened to be got to do some interesting work there, and I was quite surprised. But it was a dark secret when they knocked all that whole place down, because 90% of people, I don't even knew that was there. But the badminton was there, and we used to play to all hours at night time. And the Saturday night then we'd go across to the Empress and have the Empress special ice cream, to build up your calories again after losing it.
Refuel with ice cream?
Yeah, they had the banana splits, and then they had the Empress special, was a kind of clover leaf with the 4 different kind of things, and that was at 11 o'clock at night, and you had to play, you either came real early to play singles or to real late afterwards, and you signed up on the board for it. It was competitive, and we had an umpire's chair, and when we had our tournaments, we had like people standing there to turn around and see whether the bird was out or in. It was competitive, you know what I mean?
How long had the club been around when you arrived?
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
No idea, yeah?
No idea. On one of the trophies there, wherever they are, like so there, you'd like to be able to go back to whereabouts they were, as far as that was concerned. Like so, but it was well established when I was there. Like so, the Emblers were there, the Charltons were there, and it'd been there for quite a lot of years. You know what I mean? If people think it was just here, no, there's a way back. Some of the trophies were actually military type trophies. Like so, different names that was on them, like that. But the badminton club has been around for years and years and years. You know what I mean? They used to have their own crest on it there, a different crest, like so the badminton on it, and it was good competitive play. You know what I mean? As I said, they were all played in white, and it was competitive, but it was a good friendly place to play in. And they used to play like bridge while they were waiting in the lounge there, when you're waiting in between games. And when people used to come, they used to say how cold it was to play there. You know what I mean? Because it was wood stoves and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But the badminton club there was well established a long time before I was there. I couldn't say how many years. I'd be just making a false guess. You know
Have
what
to
I
do
mean?
some more digging
on
the badminton club.
Well, out for you, I turned around and asked, phone Derek, and if he's got some of the trophies, to see some of the dates on them way back. You know what I mean? But I never paid attention. I must be truthful. You know what I mean?
Is there anybody else from the badminton club in the Hall of Fame that you're aware of?
Well, Maurice was in there. I helped get Maurice in there, and Mark Baker was in there as well. They were the three. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now, going back to 2005 once again, and that's your induction. What was the group from the badminton club like? How enthused were they for you?
Well, a couple of them did some spade work there, getting some information on. I didn't know a thing about it actually until I was given a call from the sports club there. At I'd been picked for it and that, and like so, I guess my wife had got some information from them, and like so, a few of the people that was there, like so, gave information, and like so, even Mary Heinen gave some information from this Sanford Fleming, and different ones that gave information, and the same with the soccer. I mean, I imagine Bobby Kroll and Buchan and Pete there gave their things, so they know all where they got the information. I don't know where I got it.
We've got all the letters right in here, actually, if you want to take a look at them. Yeah, Mary Heinen was one of them, absolutely. And a couple other things. So 1971, the Ability Awards, so Peterborough Soccer League Sportsmanship and Ability. Are those two separate awards, or is it?
No, it's a combination award.
Okay.
Yeah, I just come back into play again that year. Like I said, they were short of a goalkeeper, so I landed up and played that year. And Alec Game, we kind of split the award together between us. You know what I mean? But it was here. All I can say is it was good, enjoyable, fun, good sports, and all the rest of it.
Are there any of those nights that stick out more than others? Like, I know there will be all these ceremonies and awards and banquets and dances and everything. Are there some that really stand out to you now?
Well, getting elected into the Sports Hall of Fame was a big thing. I was very proud of that. And there was a funny thing that one of the came there, he had picked the people for the tables, and so I'd picked the people for the tables, and all of a sudden one of the executives says, well, we got to move one of the people, you can't got that, we've got to put the photographer there, you know what I mean? And I couldn't understand why the photographer. I said, well, you can do a telephoto lens down here or do that, and I went on, and we went there through about it, and I still couldn't get that, so I was kind of, nippy about it and that, and next thing is, I didn't know, and the person gave me, he says, well, Lionel, here, Susan, no trouble, I'm going to take you down to introduce you to the photographer, because I don't want you saying nothing, like, sir, because we had to get somebody else to sit there. My brother came from Scotland. They were just teasing me,
Okay.
you know.
It was a nice little surprise.
It was, yeah.
How often did you get a chance to see your family from Scotland?
Pardon me?
How often were you able to see your family from Scotland?
My brother was over quite a bit,
Oh, okay.
actually. So was my mother and my wife's mother and all the rest of it, you know. Betty, she used to go up till now a bit near once a year and then come back home for the golf and that. She had a lot of real relations there. But my cousins are still here, a couple of them still there, you know, like Mary DiCarlo and Frank Finnegan and that. And we're getting down in numbers, you know what I mean?
Who was running the ruse in 2005 with the photographer at the table? Who was the leader of that?
I don't know who made that suggestion that it was there. I guess they didn't want to tell me it was my brother was coming over there, so they had to put him in there and that. And I can't remember. It was one of the executive. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, we were playing the golf tournament and he turned around and says, "You were once son of a gun." He says, "All he done was gripe and gripe and gripe." You know, but I just, you know, I didn't know. And I just took it as his words, you know what I mean? But
Okay, yeah. So you remember that night when I'm not sure if everybody was giving speeches back then, but I know for the most part, the ones that I've been to, I've seen people have to stand up and address the crowd.
yeah.
What did you have to say that night?
I was complimented by one of certain reporters. I had one of the shortest speeches out. I don't know if it's still in that there, because I turned around and I just gave the details, turned around and said that everybody's here there. If you want to know all the achievements, the sports hall had all out there and all the information was in the booklet. I said, so there was no sense in me speaking and turning around and saying that, because you're supposed to be short of 7 minutes. So one of the people that does the sports writer said it was one of the shortest speeches, one of the best speeches he'd seen or heard. So it was it. I just thanked the people that was there, and any information, it was there if they wanted to go and look at it.
It was efficient.
It was efficient.
Yeah.
Just say, if you say it in 20 words, don't take 50.
Did you remember to thank your wife though?
Oh yes, I
Okay.
sure did. Yeah. Oh yeah.
How much did it mean to her when you got inducted?
Oh, I think she was very happy and very proud too. You know what I mean? And that, yeah. But yeah, Betty was a good sports person. And at the golf course there, she'd won, you know, a few of the times with the mixed league and that, the championship and the times and all the rest of it. And she was a good little swimmer and, you know, good sports player, badminton, and well, she had to be playing good if she gets through to the Ontario Seas. You know what I mean? But that was funny enough. One thing you get. Little joke, you know, we were playing in one tournament there and we were down the first game and we were losing the second game, and I sometimes get a little, she's mixed doubles and I kind of, in my racket, give a little kind of flick there and say, "Well, let's go." I says, "Let's play." Well, you turn around and hit me like that, and she went as hot as a firecracker, and we walked right through and won the tournament. I'll always remember that. She says, "Just, you know, let's go."
Motivator in a unique way.
It was not the right way to do motivated, but
No.
all of a sudden, that
Played
was
with fire.
that's it. We went right through and never lost it after that. But it was good, you know.
Good.
We never no discussions on the court and that, and just played good, you know what I mean. But
Well, as we come to pretty much the end of the interview here, just a couple more things now.
yeah,
Now I've asked you about a lot of these awards, and I've asked you to describe them a little bit. Is there one that stands above them all?
yeah, I'm going to try and win the men's doubles still again with Eric.
Okay.
I'm determined to win it.
So it's not one that's happened, it's one that's going to happen.
It's going to happen. You've got to look positive. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think that leads into the other one pretty nicely. It's how you want to be remembered.
Yeah.
How you want your sports legacy to be remembered in Peterborough. What would that be?
I think in the badminton, I think it would be hard for somebody else to try and beat that record of so many wins. You know what I mean? And I think one of the things I think I really appreciate is the number of adults now, they were children then, meet you and greet you, and a lot of them you can't even remember some of their names. You know what I mean? And oh yeah, they came there, and that one comical thing was, at Douro, I had one of the first mixed soccer teams, you know what I mean? And this little girl was always turning around and looking and doing something like this and that. And I said, "What are you doing this? Is you paying attention?" And I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "Oh, I'm writing on the positions where I'm supposed to be on my hand." So at the Douro Seniors Club, they always have somebody to come in and do a little talk. And this lady was coming in to teach us for doing investment for money and all the rest of it from one of the banks. She says, "Do you remember me?" And I says, "Something familiar, but I don't have an idea." She says, "Does this mean anything to you?" I says, "Don't tell me that girl." She says, "Yeah, I was her." So, it's amazing how people years later all of a sudden show up in your life. You know what I mean? Like the Glover family there, and like so they still play, daughters and all the rest of it. And now one of them had their grandchild is still there, and I think people recognizing you from what you were, and different things. At the motorcycle tournament, and we were going through the gate, and somebody, "Hi, Lionel, who's that?" And another guy tapped me on the shoulder to say, there, and you kind of think back, who is that or what it is. I think knowing that these people have all been helped and played well, enjoyed the sport, and they really were thankful too. I think that's a big thing. And even the members in their own club, there's a lot of them there. A big percentage of them I've coached. You know what I mean?
Just positive interactions.
I'd say that's about it. I'd say just that's it. But I'm telling them, I'm warning them now. I'm training still now to get that men's doubles. Okay. I don't think I'll ever win the singles, but if I get a good enough partner, maybe they can carry me or I'll carry them, one or the other.
Okay, we'll look out for the 18th championship.
I'm determined.
All right. Yeah. Well, Lionel, thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Thank you very much, sir, and I hope you can get any benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure to be a member of the Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you.